before I forget, you guys, quick disclaimer, just want to throw this out there. This video was filmed on separate days, simply because it's been rainy all week long, and I've had a lot of shit to do, and it's been almost nearly impossible to record. But other than that, I'm all ready. I'm all set to go. And, also, why am I wearing a blanket? Because it's cold. It's been thundering non-stop all week, and it's just starting to get into the mid 40s, maybe the low 40s. It should be like the low 40s tonight. I'm pretty sure it should be like maybe a good 43 degrees tonight. I'm not sure. We'll find out. Anyway, let's jump right into it, shall we? But wait. Do you feel that? It's too cold. Not even the blanket will help. It's best to just embrace it. I'm sorry, lights. Please forgive. Because there is no accounting for the horrors behind the tiny bunny. This is a game that I have seen and that I have heard of as well. I'm going to translate this to English. Where supposedly every choice you make has an impact on the story. And I am very curious. This game looks like it's a lot of fun. This game looks like it has been very, very well put together, and I am ecstatic to give this a try. This is the demo. I have not purchased the full game yet, because I wanted to leave the elements of the full game a surprise for as long as I possibly could before anything else. Because oh my goodness. Now, I'm sure you guys realize by now, but I'm not that good at voice acting for the moment. I say for the moment because I am going to keep trying at it, so I can't really promise you any top-tier voice acting, but I am going to try my absolute darndest here. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all the sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneering, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing, and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days, and it was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves, but there was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the cold wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was my imagination. I was already 12 after all, but still. I love that artwork, by the way. That is beautiful artwork. Hey, put your book away. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. Oh, I see. Okay, so... Yeah, I guess I'll hide it. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan and the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Oya had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic. She almost looked like your typical girl from commercials.
You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it.
I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness swelled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night. Sleepless. I said sleepless. Sleepless! It's sleepless! I give up on English! The black forest around our house and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Castillo Odyssey. I love that show. I wonder how horrifying... I didn't mean to do that! No, continue! I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. Or how cold the black forest is at night. The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes.
What did I just say? I'll get it. Oh, that was him, not her. Her name is Oya. Okay, his name,
I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this carved into the side of the table? Karina. Is that... Oh, no, that's right. That's like Russian. Huh. That's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy while she was little. She sure was rascal, damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it? No. She's been in a bad mood lately. I imagined her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? I imagined my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting on the edge of her bed where Oya sleeps nowadays, and saying in her soft, smooth voice,
Taiga is a special place, little girl. It's watching you closely, sniffing you out, trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. And that would be it.
Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams until the late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket, and she called it her cute funeral box.
That's dark. Wow. Okay, I'm already really loving the dark theme to this game. This is... Mwah.
It waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the last time she was alive. Only all of the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had dead, but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Oya was done with her cookies, and she was looking at my share with a sly wooden...
Skylar, let me talk to you for a minute.
Yes, Skylar. Fuck was that? What do you mean?
Do you know how to speak English?
Well, yeah?
So why aren't you speaking the words properly? I don't want to hear it! Take a sip of your coffee.
Okay.
Better?
Yeah.
Do you think you can now articulate what you are trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Good. Don't let it happen again.
Yes, sir.
Oya was done with her cookies, and she was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of the frost formed a picture on the glass. Oya, look, it's a fox.
Where?
It looked almost like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit and look under a certain angle. Not outside, on the window. Look, here's the nose, and here's... Hey, eat up! Yes, just a moment.
I don't see anything.
Hurry up, there's not much time left.
Ah, there it is! But it doesn't look like one.
I'm telling you it does.
Nuh-uh!
It does! Stop it! These kids, I swear! Now I couldn't see the fox either. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty pattern similar to stretched out nettle leaves kept creeping up the glass. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Mom would always ask jokingly, "Come on, shave it off, it stings." This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were everyday occurrence. Oya would always cover her ears whenever she hears something like, "What's the point in all this?" through the wall. "It's all for your sake," Dad would reply, "for the sake of our family." I always caught every single sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, deadliest word that started with D. D-I-V-O. I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families.
Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl in my window.
You and your owl talk again.
You said you believed me just yesterday.
Has anybody seen my car keys? I remember leaving them on the windowsill.
Right. Maybe you did, and maybe not. You're a grown man, a father of two, and still...
Katrina, please stop. Just let me get ready in peace. Your keys are on the basket near the phone. Well, thank you very much. Anton, stop making a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already. And the owl.
And the owl.
There was no owl.
Why am I still fucking up the words? What's wrong with me? Am I just not cut out for English? Is that what the problem is? I feel like I'm having a moral dilemma.
But there was one! It had giant glowing eyes!
Oya sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers the size of an apple each. Last year, you had Bye-Bye in your closet, and now this owl?
But I saw it!
Oya shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice? Don't bully our girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Oya powdered her lips in rebellion and pushed into the hallway.
Rushed. Why did I give up on it!
The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys as he just found. A minute had passed and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on an incredibly worn-out cassette tape, which Dad had already glued together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship?
Man, you're just a kid. You shouldn't be like thinking about this stuff. Like I get it. It's not to say that no kid's opinions are valid in these situations, because they most definitely are, and they should be heard out. But at the same time, like, what's the full story? Do we know what the full story is? Maybe it'll be explained later on in the game. I imagine not in this version, of course, not in the demo, but maybe in the full game, because I do plan on getting it. I do plan on getting my hands on it. You can be sure about that.
Mom moved to the living room, and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Oya had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up under a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped take her mind off of all the troubles we had with the move and our parents.
Oh, God. That sent chills up my spine, and I loved it.
And then Oya said that she saw that giant flying monster outside her window, and she became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Oya refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just out of her nightmares. After tonight, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words or what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? Just last night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep, and I ended up thinking of what to do or what to expect in my new school. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of the new term. My imagination drew long, twisted hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was just as if some completely different creature were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Why won't they hang up and beat me down? Stomp on me with their bloodied shoes. The damn school can burn for all I care. I just wish for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who were just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me worse than the previous one. Can I... Oops! No! I didn't mean to do that! Ooh, can I... Oh, I can't scroll. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Oya begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late.
I hear that. Coffee also helps. You know, just throwing that out there.
The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number." Or, "Anton's not around." Anton is not around. I imagined my future classmates lying in their beds just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with neighbors' drills, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closest cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my deceased family, with their ashen eyes, were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it amidst the cold, snowy night, right? Someone was dancing in the field. Black silhouettes I could barely make out with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly, the music stopped. The dancing shadows froze in place, and I could swear, pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch-black snow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back toward the bed. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with the blankets as if it could protect me. The shackless fear of locked my muscles. I remember the funeral, my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up their head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Oh, that visual. That is a disturbing visual. Keep going, I love it. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets, and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure, and now, lying under the bed and listening to the squeaks and howls, I was repeating those same words. On the island of Buny, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. There lay lard and ashen hair for the spawn from the devil's lair, to feast and always leave alone God's faithful servant named Anton. Evil leave this house must, ashes to ashes, and dust to dust. The bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like hangmen. Then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sounds scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone was scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut.
Dad had become very cautious recently, so we installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently, as if he was looking for someone. Ashes! To ashes! I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and drilled the floor with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness. And then the doorknob twitched, slightly. Then it turned halfway once, twice, as if the person who had tried to enter had no ends. The doorknob tilted once more, and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of a hallway. Tony. It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Tony. My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, Tony, you asleep? My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief. Oya, I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Oya frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry.
It's there again. It's staring at me. Shoo her away, Tony, please. I'm so scared.
The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Oya down. It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's gonna harm you. Oya sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure of myself? I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Why does Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? That question took me by surprise. All right, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. Tony, you coming? Yes, just a moment. Oh! Oh, God! That was terrifying! Oh! I legit, I breathed in and gasped. That was genuine fear. Just jump out onto the screen and I went, oh shit. Oh, wow. That was beautifully executed. I applaud you, sir. Very well done. That's why I don't want to laugh at Oya and her howl in their owl in the morning. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled just from a silly thought that our morning guests could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was arguing, urging me to hide. In the closet, under the table, behind the curtains where Oya always hides. Tony, come here! I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but I still dragged them toward the hallway. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment they saw the patrol cars. Worse than bandits.
At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused.
Hello.
The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded.
A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name is Vova. Look at this, please. Have you seen him?
The policeman held out a photograph to me.
Nice looking kid.
Oh, look at the cute kitty! The cute kitty. It's a cute kitty.
There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with the wall carpet as the backdrop. He had striped the cat.
Blah, blah!
He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. No, I haven't. Are you sure? Look closely.
Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house.
Well, maybe you've seen him from the window.
That's right. Your window looks straight to the forest, don't they?
The window.
No, I haven't seen anything.
I see.
You sounded tired, but his eyes, his stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow had cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason.
How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it?
Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a lot.
Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well?
Yes, everything's all right. Thank you.
The policeman pierced me one more time with those gray eyes. My head started spinning.
Can I help you somehow?
I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner. Now that I think about it,
You just look like one of my nephews, little fella.
he's a witty boy around your age.
Wears the same type of goggles. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in the police school when his family visits this summer. Wanted to help other people, just like me, see?
I felt uncomfortable.
As if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home. Steer away from trouble. Times have changed so much.
Mom interjected in a cold voice.
You don't say that.
Well then.
What grade are you in, Tony boy?
6th.
Have you made any friends here so far?
Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break.
Then I'll leave my number, just in case. Call me if you have any new info.
The policemen were gone along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne and the photo of a smiling boy. His face stood still before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him being all alone there. For some reason, I thought of the forest. It swayed in my...
Bleh!
For some reason, I thought of the forest swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other, like they always do, and forget about me eventually?
Aw, come on, man. Don't think that way. Don't think like that. Come on. Don't turn this into a depressing thing. Oh, this is dark.
Mom, this Vova, did he go missing in our forest?
Seems like it.
Poor child.
I looked out the window at the road. The police UAZ drove off toward the village. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people. And after a set of amazing adventures, BAM! Solve any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest, and then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation on my own? Maybe I can find that lost boy, and I'll get a reward. Oya will be so happy. And not only Oya, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll save us from the D word. I fantasized about buying Oya a Tamagotchi. Hey, 90s kids, where you at? And getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. I miss a cassette player. I've actually been thinking about getting a cassette player. A cassette player. If I can speak English properly for once. I've actually been thinking about getting a cassette player. I know that they are really outdated, but I don't care. I love them. They have a nostalgic feel to them. I loved watching them as a kid, and I want to watch old Disney movies like I used to in the old days when I was a kid, like Peter Pan and Mulan and Snow White. I am a 90s child, and I grew up with all that stuff. I vaguely remember Blockbuster, and I really miss that place. I don't know if there's any left standing anymore, which is really sad. They were so cool. I know that was random, but whatever. The story in that part kind of reminded me of it. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. Could they count money, I think? Neighbors used to envy us, but nowadays Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Oya. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues. I'm going outside. Yeah, right. You want the police to go around looking for with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals or something even worse? Stop stuttering! Yeah? What was that? What was what? You not only fucked up a sentence laid out on the screen for you to read, you also stuttered. Why did you stutter? I don't know why ow. I deserve that. You are not going to stutter anymore. Do you understand? The hallway. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said? Or should I repeat myself? Better go pack your school bag or play with Oya. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. Okay. Alright. So this is where I can start making actual decisions that play a major role in the ending of the story. I could go to the kitchen
go to the front yard, or I could open the stair door. The understair door. Well, I know what happens if I go to the front yard. I'm probably going to go out and go looking for the kid anyway. If I go to the kitchen, that might stir up another argument. What if I open this?
The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself on the freshly sharpened axe. And Oya can't even be lured to the closet. Blah! Blah! And Oya can't even be lured to close it. She thinks Baba is living in there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, Dad's tools, and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me. And I liked to hide in the closet and listen to Oya count outside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den.
Okay, so I have a feeling that there is a very important clue as to what's probably going to happen later into the story. But I'm just speculating. Let's go to the kitchen. Open the fridge.
Grandma kept ice cream for me and Oya there, but now I could only see meat bits for soup and clumped together pelmeni. I grew to hate them already.
Okay, so I have to go to the front yard. Alright.
Anton!
I'll whip you if you make a single step out the door. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do, Mom!
I need to distract Mom somehow, or I'll get scolded and my ass whipped with Dad's leather belt.
Huh.
I took a peek at Mom's crossword. She wouldn't get very angry when someone gave her advice, so me and Dad faked knowing the answer and being about to reveal it all the time. I smiled at the fleeting thought. Vertical, 9 letters, the name of Philistine deity. The name of the Philistine deity that protected them from viper bites and had a nickname, the Lord of Flies. Second letter is E. Emercom of Russia has declared the state of emergency due to adverse weather conditions. According to the weather forecast, a cyclone is moving toward the region. Expect heavy snowfall, blizzards, and snow drifts on the road. Keep your eyes open and take care of yourself. The decrepit and stain-covered calendar was once my favorite form of entertainment in Grandma's house. I remember waking up and running to the kitchen so I could tear off yesterday's leaf first thing in the morning, as if the coming day would get lost in the taiga forest without any help. One day closer to New Year's, one day closer to Grandma's funeral. I haven't touched this calendar for years now, since the time they started writing dark and spooky death chants that only made me gloomy instead of funny proverbs and superstitions, to be exact. I grabbed a dusty calendar leaf with caution and tore it off effortlessly. Sadly, the spooky descriptions from my childhood were still there. 7 horses carry the log. If 7 can't carry, bring the 8th from a fairy. They will take it away and never come back. This is the fate the log cannot escape. I crumpled the gray leaf and threw it into the waste bin, hoping to get rid of the anxiousness that washed over me. It was spreading inside me like a dank... Bleh! Like a dank... It was spreading inside me like an ink stain on the blotting paper. The side of the old ocean freezer was checkered with my old childish drawings. Mom's recipes and all kinds of stickers from bubblegum with dinosaurs that Oya liked so much. Among that still life picture hung a piece of ruled paper with the phone number of the police officer who visited us. First Lieutenant Tikhonov, I read inside my mind, looking at the officer's sprawling handwriting. A scrap of paper was held by 2 pieces of broken magnet from old Soviet tool, and those pieces just barely covered up the numbers as if to haunt me. I leaned toward it to unveil the mystery and take the piece to a safer place where it could wait for its time when I would finally find Vova and be the first to call the police with happy news. Anton! Mom's reproachful eyes stared at me. What do you need it for? Hands off, you'll lose it. Angering my mom was always the last thing I wanted, so I lowered my hand. What am I supposed to do? This cross had seen so many people come and go in this house. It was black as if it absorbed all human sin from the long years it was hanging under the ceiling. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm, but she cut herself with the cross's sharp corner and almost fell from the stepladder. Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left alone in its rightful place.
Well, I am going to leave this episode right here. I will figure this out in the next one. I, overall, am very, very impressed with everything that this game has to offer. I love the style of the game. I love how dark and brooding it is in certain areas. I love the artwork. The artwork is absolutely beautiful. I cannot express that enough. The background is flawless. The character designs are all flawless. I love the music. This music is absolutely brilliant. And the story is very intriguing. I'm very curious to see where the story goes next. And I'm very curious I'm curiouser. Again, if I can speak proper English, which apparently I can't because English is a stupid language. I guess that kind of makes me a little stupid, huh? But, again, I really love this game. And I cannot wait to play more. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you guys in the next one. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe if you're new here. Hit that notification bell so you can be updated whenever a new video comes out. And let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know if you have another game that you'd like to see me play. Let me know if you want to see any more of this. I mean, I'm gonna play more of this anyway. But let me know what you guys think of this game in particular. And as always, peace out.